Well, the best advice I've ever got was from John Donahue in a talk that he gave. John was the former CEO of eBay, and he has this framework that is really good about solving a problem, which is when you have a big problem, a big transformational problem in your organization, you can break the solution in three pieces. First, you have to label the problem so that everyone in the organization can clearly understand what it is. Second, you should put everyone together to think what are the one or two strategies that you can do to tackle that problem, get everyone on board, and finally, and the most difficult thing is to get everyone in the right place to do their job. So not always the organization doesn't have an org chart to support the transformation that needs to happen. So you have to put the right people at the right place to execute this plan. So get everyone behind it and then just let people execute it. One of the biggest mistakes I've done was focus too much on raising or having capital to do my ventures, thinking that money is a measure of success, and I think a measure of success is growth. Any business will undoubtedly end up in a position where they have to find a product market fit, and when you focus on raising capital, it's easy to forget about your client. So it's all about getting to the client first, finding a product market fit, and only when you get to that point where you found how to explore the market, you should scale it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs seek capital early on and then go on a journey that tries to just prove vanity metrics as opposed to client-focused metrics. So being less internal focused and more client-focused from day one and just finding a model that works. I found it was really interesting that when CEOs were asked about what was lacking, none of them said capital. Capital was actually 1% of the answers. However, when they said, what is preventing you from investing, from innovating, I think 41% said cost, and that was the biggest answer. And to me, that comes from a position of just risk aversion. It's really hard to take risks as a CEO. It's not always what the board is mandating. It's not always what you are supposed to do. And it was, for me, incredibly fascinating to see that in a room of peers where everyone understands that this is something that they need to do, they still could not find a way to see the dissonance. So they have enough money, but they don't have the ability to invest. I found that was quite interesting. And it shows that, I don't know if that's a regional thing or an international thing in terms of businesses. I don't know if it's because of the scale, but it just shows that maybe these CEOs are not comfortable enough to take that risk, and I think it's very important to understand why. So that was very fascinating to me. I thought that it was an incredibly inclusive environment, and I felt very welcome. And I felt that some people, Kate comes to mind, were just incredibly fascinating, and they did 4 good companies that really had a mission. And I was really fascinated to find companies that have a higher purpose than just return to shareholders, that actually are self-sustaining, growing, and that as a business model really stuck with me, because I think that that's a very sustainable business model and something that should be explored more and is underexplored in the current marketplace. My company, I guess it's not very common, so it's not very related to 2019. I'm an entrepreneur. I've created companies from zero to something for all my life, and some more successful than others, while they got to a point where it really needs to scale our operations, and it's not something that I excel at. So, most of my challenge is to bring this product market fit that we created and really try to take it to the world, to take full advantage to it, so that all of our clients can be exposed to the advantages of the models that we created. And for me, that's more of a personal challenge than anyone else. So I kind of put the onus on my team and myself to see what we can do and how we can scale the model. And it's not a very 2019. I guess that the most common answer would be Brexit. It's obviously that market circumstances will not be great. We're trying to see that as an opportunity to do better, as opposed to something that we obviously don't have any control, so something to cry about.